como si estuviera en el cielo. Me siento como si estuviera tocando. Hello my lovelies, welcome back to Chi Diaries. This is the hairstyle we will be making today. It's the jungle braids, but I used it to make a cornrow hairstyle. So I used lush attachment and I didn't cut it at all. I just shared the whole pack into four for the 4 braids that we made. I brushed it out without really picking the hair extension because it's not necessary. In the process of pulling the jungle braids, the ends are going to get tapered by itself. So I tied a rope, used the tiniest rope you can afford to use so that section where the braid starts is going to be as tiny as possible. So I start feeding in the braids. Be very prepared for how tangled this is going to get. Remember, the hair extension we are using was not cut at all, so it is extremely long. So of course it is going to tangle more than often, but just bear that in mind. And then as soon as you can afford to, you have to start pulling on the braids to make it the jungle braids. So whenever you feel comfortable, you can start. This is the point I felt like it is okay, and I started here. If you do not know how to make jungle braids, I have a video where I explain different options of how you can make your jungle braids. I am using one of those options here. This is the pull on one method. So you braid once, you pull, you braid once, you pull. It makes the hair to be more fluffy, more jungle-ishly, like, you know, like a jungle braid. So but if you want the flowery or the feathered part to be smaller, you can pull after braiding more than once. So you have to braid, pull, feed in the hair, pull, and just continue doing that. Be ready for how tangled this hair is going to get. At some point you will have to stop and brush out the hair. That is very okay, and that was what I had to do. But as I said, just watch in slow motion. It is actually very self-explanatory. So you just feed in the braid, pull, feed in, pull. If you pull at the wrong place, if you pull at the wrong place, the hair is going to be stuck. So just watch exactly how I pull. Where my hand is free, I pull the plate above the one my alternating hand is holding. So just see, it's so much easier to learn from watching. And then also try not to make the plating, like the braids you're making, don't make it too tight so that you will be able to pull the hair easily. If it is too tight, you will struggle with pulling the hair. Also, in the course of making the 4 strands, not strands, the 4 braids that we use, I figured out that the way you pull the hair affects how it looks. When I take my time to pull to have like a clean pinch, I don't know how to explain this. When you pinch a section of hair neatly, like you grab a certain amount and pinch it at once, like a clean pinch, the output is different from when you just carelessly grab a bunch of hair and pull it without thinking about it. So it's just like grabbing exactly 20 strands neatly and pulling it up than when you just go and grab any amount and pull. So it's going to make the hair look more not fluffy, more disorganized. Not disorganized, what's the word? More, when you have I can't figure out what I want to say. What's this word? When your hair is kind of scattered. Okay, what's the word?
Rough.
Oh, not rough. like frizzy, 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 frizzy. How you pinch the hair is going to determine if it is going to look neat or if it's going to be frizzy. So exactly, if you pinch it neatly, you're going to minimize frizz. But if you just grab any hair, it's like frizzy, but it's not frizzy because you don't have dead ends of the hair showing up. But the bunch of hair you pulled is going to just be scattered and all over the place. So if you want the hair to look frizzy, to have like a frizzy look to it, then just grab hair and go. But if you want it to look more tamed, more like neater and put together, but still a jungle braid, then you have to pinch consciously and as if you're actually trying to avoid frizz. So this very first one I did was pinched carefully. The next ones I did, I don't know, maybe because I got tired, they looked more frizzy. Guys, you have to prepare yourself. Like when I was done braiding just one of these hairs, one, I felt as if I just finished making someone's head. It is so long and exhausting. You don't have to make yours as long as this, I can tell you, but see, if you don't have strength, I will advise you to cut your braiding hair into two. You can see how long the hair is for my final output. So if you don't want that, you really have to cut your hair into two to make it easier for you. But this hair is long, and because you are pulling at every step, it is exhausting. So just prepare your mind, prepare your mind. Let's keep going. So when I get to the end of the braid, I just braided it like a regular hair. But see, I can tell you from experience of doing this, if there is a way you can coil the tip of the braid, like when you get to where it's no longer comfortable pinching the hair, or just where you want your braid to stop, use a rubber band and secure it very well, then coil. You can use flexi rod or rollers, coil the tip of the braid. It is going to look 2 million times better and finer. I promise you, it is finer than this. The way we braided this one to the tip, like completely, it was just like four tiny braided mouths, and I don't know. So guys, I'm going to take this process again for people who didn't get what, like if you missed any step there, you can see it and be sure. And this is going to be a little bit faster, and you also see it looks a little bit different from the first one I did. You can see I have someone helping me to section off the hair as I added, and it was even a struggle for her because the braiding hair was not cut at all. So because you don't cut this, you really have to take your time and brush it out, because some of them comes almost a little bit tangled from the beginning. And also, if you can begin to fluff your hair a little bit earlier than I did, it's also better, because it will just start giving you the jungle look from like way from the beginning of the braid, which is going to be so much finer. Something else I have to say about this is when we get to where I attach this hair extension to the actual braids, if you have thicker hair, like fuller hair, and you braid only your hair, like some people when they braid just their hair, it is almost as thick as this strand here. You need this strand to be able, this hair that we are making, this jungle braid, you need it to be able to cover your own hair. So if your hair is not too full, you can get away with, like when you braid your hair, I am making like 4 for the jumbo braids, like 4 to the back, just 4 braids. If you braid your hair into 4 and the plaited part is tiny, then you are blessed with this style, because it will be so effortless for you to use this one and cover your hair. But if your hair is as thick as this jungle braids, then you might have to, like, it determines how many sections you have on your head. You might have to go for like 5 or 6 or more hairs, or you have to go with bigger sections for your jungle braids. So the size of your natural hair when it's braided determines or affects your choice of this braiding hair and how long it is, or how big fat it should be. So you can see the second one is a little bit more frizzy than the first one, but it didn't stop. Like when I was done with the hair, I could no longer see that difference. Everything just looked beautiful. This jungle braid is a showstopper. Like everybody must stop and just look at it. It is so nice. So guys, let's continue. So in the course of this style, I added the letter M to my 4 all back. I added the letter M to my 4 braids just because I was in the course of making my alphabet, how to braid alphabet series, and I needed to braid letter M. I just decided to include it in this tutorial. If you're interested in learning how to braid alphabets, please check out that playlist. It will be in the description bar. If you want to learn how to make your mannequin head, you can see how I made this cornrow. Like where I have a video of how I made this cornrow I am using here. You can also check that out. So to sew on this hair, because we want to conceal the thread as much as possible, I start a little bit behind the front of the hair, secure my thread there, and then slide my needle to the front of where I want the braid to be. You don't want your knot showing at the beginning of that tapered end, because as you can see, that place is really thin. So I started off from behind, then brought my needle there. Slide your needle into that tiny hole that you tied to wherever you made your jungle braid. That's why I said it should be as tiny as possible, so that it can just blend in with the tiny part of your braid when you start. The end goal of this process is to attach the jungle braids to your natural hair without your natural hair showing as much as possible. So there can be exceptions, or there can be sections where you will not be able to achieve that. For me, I believe it is best if your hair is going to show, it shouldn't be from the angle of where people can look at. So instead of the hair showing towards her ears, if I have to choose a side where I want the hair to show, it is going to be the side behind where, like the front view. So the side towards her ear should be properly covered in case the jungle braid is thinner than the natural hair. The excess natural hair should be showing on the hidden part of the head, not on the side that is in full glare of someone looking at your hair. But just try. Like, it doesn't matter the way you're able to attach the hair, just make sure your thread is hidden and the jungle braid is secured on your natural hair. That is all. I didn't do this tutorial myself because I knew I was just going to poke the hell out of myself. So I believe it's better I try it. I don't know if you can sew this on your head. Good for you, try it. But guys, the sewing scared me, but I guess I am going to try it, and soon. So just make sure you don't give too much gap, so that you will not have any part of the head of the jungle braid dangling. So I continue this till the end. You're going to see how I attach it to the tail part of the braid, like how I attach the tail of the mannequin head to the jungle braid. The way I sewed down the jungle braids on this first braid is not the same way I use for the second one. It's not the same way I use for the third one. I just found that no matter the way I use, as I said, the end goal is to cover the natural hair as much as possible while securing the jungle braids on the hair. And I just found that you can achieve that with different methods. So just do whatever is comfortable for you. If you prefer to do it the way I am doing it here, then of course do so. You can check how I did the second and the third ones if you want to like have varieties. And also when I was done, I stopped and looked at the whole head. Like if I notice the natural hair peeking through too much unnoticeably, you can go back with your needle and thread and just correct that area as much as you can. Again, And also, if your thread, try to avoid the butterfly parts of the braid when doing this, so that you don't distort their looks. If your thread happens to graze over it or press it down, pull it back up. It is going to almost return to its initial state, so just pull it up a little bit and fluff it out back. You will be surprised at how well behaved it is going to be when it comes back. So guys, you can see the way I am attaching the long part of it. This is so much easier. I wonder if I can make like individual braids and attach this jungle braid to it. No, it's going to have back, so maybe that will not be nice. But this is the way I ended everything to make it secured. You don't need to sew this really closely, just enough for it to be secured. And this was how I ended the last sections, to make sure that it doesn't poke through from behind the braid. Remember, this is behind the braid. I am going to repeat this for the second and third, just showing few, like some parts of it, not everything. Okay, this is the second one, so 2 more to go. No, this is the first one actually. Why does it feel like, okay, yeah, it's the first one? But then just watch it, you understand what I mean. If you have any question, ask me in the description bar. If you want to learn how to braid alphabets in on your hair or on your child's hair, I have a video. I have started the series. As you can see, we have gotten to letter M. We are going to finish it, and then we're also going to braid things like numbers. We are going to braid signs like dollar signs, stars. I have videos of flowers, braided hearts already, so butterflies, just check them out. I have everything listed in my channel, and the playlist will be linked in the description. But you can see me just trying to cover up where the hair was showing too much, and that's that. So let's keep watching.
Como si estuviera tocando el cielo cuando te toqué. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, te amo. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, te amo. Cuando te miro, me siento como si estuviera en el cielo. Me siento como si estuviera tocando el cielo cuando te toqué. Cuando te miro, me siento como si estuviera en el cielo. Me siento como si estuviera tocando el cielo cuando te toqué. Cuando te miro, me siento como si estuviera en el cielo. Me siento como si estuviera tocando el cielo cuando te toqué. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, te amo. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, no me dejes ir, te necesito. No me dejes ir, te amo. siento como si estuviera en el cielo. Me siento como si estuviera tocando el cielo. Cuando te toqué